Hello and welcome back again. This is Tina, and today is May 10th, and it is time for my update on my next whip for Stitch Mania. This was the second whip that I was going to work on for one day only, and I chose this whip to be a one-day whip to pair it with the Nativity, simply because this was my newest start and I felt like I needed to give much more attention to my older whips than to my newest whip. And so I decided to make it the other whip that would be a one day. So here you have it. This is St. Nick's Toys for good little girls and boys. So cute. This is a Sue Hillis design. And as you know, I'm stitching this for a friend for Christmas. So I have plenty of time to get it done. And I don't think it's going to be hard because I have a picture to show you where I got started from this morning. And I'll insert that here. And now I'll show you what a day of stitching got me on this piece. Isn't she precious? Such a cutie pie. I got the doll finished, even did the back stitching on her. I'm going to back stitch as I go. And I got the chair partially finished and actually moved over to start the little horse head that's on the stick here. So I think I got a great deal of progress today, and it's just the most precious thing. Easy to stitch. This is on a linen that I had left over. It's doubloon. It's 28 count linen, hand dyed, and I'm enjoying it very, very much. Just took it off the Q-snap tonight, so it's a little wrinkly, but it was a fun stitch. I did get enough stitching time today to get what I considered to be pretty good progress on it, so I'm happy about that. Well, it was a busy day. Took my husband's car into the shop. He had to have a new alternator. And then, of course, we had choir practice at church last night. So in between those two major things that we had to get done yesterday, I was able to get the little rag doll stitched. So I was very happy with that. Now, tomorrow, I will start on Sleeping Beauty, and I'm going to stitch on her tomorrow, the 11th, and on Saturday, the 12th, because the 12th of May is her anniversary. And I haven't pulled her out yet, so I don't have her to show you right here, but it'll be just a second before you see her. And I'll try to either insert a picture or take a picture before I get started on her so I can show you the starting point in the morning. Anyway, I hope you've had a great 10th of May. I hope you're enjoying Stitch Mania if you're doing it. And if not, I hope you're enjoying those of us that are going through this madness, that we're sharing it with you. Aren't we nice? Anyway, thanks for some of your comments on the first half of the Mania. Put up my video showing you kind of my progress I've made so far. And I've received such nice comments, and I appreciate your support, your encouragement on my progress, and how much you're enjoying watching some of them develop. So I hope that that continues for you. Have a great rest of Mania, and I will see you in a couple of days. Good evening, everyone. This is Dina, and today is May 12th. It is Saturday. This is the anniversary day for my Sleeping Beauty whip. I started Sleeping Beauty on May 12th, 2016, in the very first Mania that I ever participated in. So this is my second anniversary of stitching her on May 12th. I have stitched her a lot in between as well, as you know. But today marks the end of my working on her for the Maynia project. And if you will recall, when I showed you where I was starting, I mentioned that I was gonna go and stitch on the green bedding that was draping underneath her and try to work my way over to the far end of the piece and maybe even work toward the bottom. And I am excited to share with you what I got done. I'm tickled. So I'll show you now. This is the Sleeping Beauty. And I can't see what you're seeing, so I hope that I'm able to show it to you where you can see all of it. Maybe I need to back up a little bit. But there you have it. I did get another 2 of the draped rows across the bedding, and I'll give you a close-up here in a minute. And then I worked my way down into that corner. So now you can see from top to bottom what that dimension is going to be in the height of the piece. Very excited about that. So let me give you some close-ups. You can see, I think, very well how those spaces are creating swirls for the beads in that pale green and white bedding that's swooping down off the side of the bed there. So this time I was able to do that dark green swash through there and this lighter white piece through there. So I got all that all the way up into here completed, and so when I got over here I had some of this to work down. I worked my way down here, hit the edge, went down the side there to the bottom, and got the flowers and pretty little ribbons. I think those were ribbons, stitched all the way to that corner. So this piece here now will have another draping that will go across under here. We'll meet up over here where you see that purple going down. So that purple is going to go down and back up over here. This greenery right here, the green and white, is going to go down another 3 color changes. So it's going to go down, 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 blocks. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 down to here. And that you'll have that sweep back across here. So things are going to start intersecting. They're going to start meeting up in the middle. But what I'm very excited about is that I'm getting there. I'm actually seeing light at the end of the tunnel for this piece. I'm becoming a little more confident as I go that I will finish her this year. I think I can do that. After this month, I'll have 6 months to go. It'll be tough, but I think I can do it. And again, I'm gonna try to work on it twice a month. So that would be pretty good if I can get that done. So that's my progress on Sleeping Beauty. I think this is probably one of the biggest things I've ever done as far as the total stitches. Now, this will just finish the stitching. As you know, there are a lot of beads to go in here, but it's moving along, and I'm feeling really good about what I got done for Maynia. I am very, very pleased that I made the decision to do a whip Maynia this year, because I have seen quite a bit of progress on all the whips I've touched, except probably the Nativity. And I'm feeling really good about it. So I did want to tell you a happy Mother's Day for those of you who are moms and are celebrating, and for those of you who are celebrating with your mother. You're so fortunate and blessed, and I just hope you have a fabulous day tomorrow. My son was kind enough to invite me to dinner for Mother's Day and took me to a lovely restaurant called the Blue Bicycle. It's a bistro, and we had a delightful dinner together and talked and visited and just had a nice evening. And but the food was fabulous, and the company was awesome, so that was great. But he actually had invited me to dinner and made a reservation and drove me out of town. It was probably about a 35-minute drive from where we live, and we went and had dinner and rode around in the area, looked around a little bit to see what was there in case we wanted to go back shopping or, try other areas. And then we drove back home and enjoyed the conversation all the way back home. So I have already celebrated Mother's Day with my son. And then tomorrow, of course, we'll have a quiet day after church and be at home. And I hope to get stitching done. So I hope you do too. I hope you get to do whatever you like on Mother's Day. And I hope your family spoils you rotten. I'll talk to you in a couple of days. Everyone, enjoy Stitch Mania, whether you're participating or whether you're just enjoying everyone else's journey and you're just going ahead and doing your stitching the way you want and watching all of us go crazy. Happy stitching, everybody. I'll talk to you in a while. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is Tina, and I am here to give you an update on my next WIP I've been working on for my WIP Mania. This is my Quaker Christmas 2 by ByGone Stitches. If you will recall, I had started working my way down and across, and I had gotten to about in here. I had split this in half and had just gotten a couple of these beginning of this motif here. Get a little closer for you. Then during the time between that rotation and Maynia, whenever I had a minute or two, since this is on my floor stand, I would start working on the little small things in between. And I did a few. I did this little round one here and this little one here. And then I came over here and where they've got GRR in there, I put my initials, D, J, and H. And I got this little tree done. And then I waited. That was all the little things I did just in my spare time when I had a few minutes to stitch and didn't want to get out a full WIP or something. But then when I got ready to start Maynia, I decided to go ahead and tackle this big one in the middle and get it out of the way. And so I got this one done, and then I came back over and picked up this little one here. And then I headed over here and did these small ones here. These small ones up here. I finished this motif. I did the small ones around it. And then I did this big one here. And what you can't see on the side of it is the word Merry Christmas. And I finished the Christmas. So I'm going to turn the camera around. I have to pause it to do that, but I just wanted to go ahead and show you how I had made progress all the way across the piece and was very pleased with how much I got done. So now I'm not going to take it off my roller frame, but I'll show you kind of where I'm at on the roller frame anyway. And before I do that, I was trying to think how to show you the next whip I'm going to work on, but I'll do that after I turn the camera around because you can see it better if I show it to you close up as well. So I'll be right back. Okay, here it is all in one piece. Stand back a little bit so you can see it. As I mentioned, I did this piece, my initials here, the tree, this little part, all of this, all of this, these little ones here, this little one here, all of this, and the word Christmas. Ooh, that was a lot to do in 2 days. It's very intricate looking, and it is. You just have to follow and count carefully. But interestingly enough, I had to frog more on the little ones than I did on big ones. Isn't that strange? But anyway, the frog visited me on this, but not terribly bad, just a couple of times, and it was only a few stitches, so I made it. I don't get to show you needle minders very often because I'm holding my things up to show you, but my needle minder here is from the Twisted Stitcher, and it's one of her Christmas ones. It was a gift from her, and that's, I felt, deserved a place, especially with it having the Christmas poinsettia on it. On this piece. So I am very, very happy with my progress on Christmas Quaker 2. And if you're on the fence considering this piece, I know it looks large, but it goes pretty quickly. So I would encourage you to try it. I'm looking forward to the next rotation. There'll be a very large motif on this side, some medium ones, but I get to do the 3 ships this time, so I'm looking forward to that. Okay, what's next? Well, Mill Hill Kit, Snowman by Jim Shore. I'll start working on that tomorrow. Here's where my starting point is. I'm just beginning to work on that outside border right here. So here's your look at it today. And it'll only be a few seconds for you, but for me, it'll be 2 days of stitching, and then I'll be back to see you again. I can't believe there's only 2 whips, this one and my Halloween tricks, left for my whip mania. Loving it, you guys. This was a great solution for me for this year, and I'm really enjoying the progress. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hello everyone, this is Dina, and today is May 16th. It's Wednesday. It's been a crazy day. I have had a very full day. Had a doctor's appointment this morning. Had lunch with my husband after helping him pack. He was getting ready to go out of town for a few days, and then I had dinner with my son and choir practice at church tonight. So it's been a busy day. Didn't get a lot of stitching done today, but I did get quite a bit done yesterday. So all total, I'm okay with my progress on this one. This is the next to last piece of my whip mania. So that's pretty exciting. Almost made it through. This is what I've been working on. This is the Snowman by, it's a Mill Hill kit. It was designed by Jim Shore. He has a very recognizable design in all of his paisleys. And I love this. This is a Christmas present for my sister's mom. My sister Stephanie's mother, Ellen, has adopted me as her 3rd daughter. And I just love it. So we've been exchanging birthday and Christmas presents for the last few years. And I have made her a snowman once before, and she really enjoyed it. And I try not to make them completely Christmassy because then she can keep them out all winter long. And they have snowed quite a while there in Illinois. So this is my progress. This is how far I've gotten in the last 2 days. When I got started, if you'll recall, I had the inside done and a few stitches down here. starting on that border. And so I just came on over to this side, went all the way over to this side, and then turned the corner and went up. So I am thrilled. I was hoping to get at least one corner of stitching done, and I have been able to almost double that. I'd say I turned the corner there. So that's pretty exciting. I was thinking if I could do a corner per month, that I would finish this cross stitching in 4 months, and then I would be able to do the beading right before Christmas there in probably around October, November time frame. But if I can get this much done again, then it may take me only 3 rotations to finish doing the cross stitch, and then I could bead it a little bit earlier. So this one is moving forward. I'm just thrilled to death because this is pretty confetti heavy in here. And then of course you have to count real carefully because you got all those holes in there for beads. But I love the colors. In fact, my husband was came into my sewing room while I was working on this today, and before he left town, and he said, "Oh, I like those colors." So they're striking. For him to mention something out of everything else that I'm working on really shows that it does stand out a bit. So I'm happy about that. So, are you ready? This will be my last whip for Maynia. This will be the final one. This will be number 10. So, that's what I have left. It's my most recent, well, not quite my most recent start. I have started Cheryl's Present since then. But this is Halloween Tricks. And I just think this is so cute. I'm going to show you where I left off last time when you saw it last, before I get started on this tomorrow. So here it is, the Saturday evening post with those 2 cats fighting on top of that fence. So I can't wait to see what I get done in the next 2 days. I'll be starting on that fence behind the 2 boys, right under the cats. I think that makes the most sense, just to work my way on down as I go, So that's what I'll be working on. Not real exciting. Lot of confetti in there. Anyway, what a way to end Maynia, right? And then, of course, if I get through all that, then what do I have here? Bunch of white. But that's what's so neat about doing a whip Maynia. You get to do a bit of work, focused work on your whip that helps you move it forward. And I think that's exciting for me because there were times when on some of my whips I felt stuck. I would look at it and think, oh, I'm not in the mood to do that today, and you move on to something else. But doing this for Maynia in the order that I did, I knew this was the whip I needed to do something on. It didn't matter what I did, I just needed to work on it. And the interesting thing is, once I got started, it didn't matter, where I was on it. It was just the fact that I had to get myself started, and then I would go forward. And I only have a couple that do me that way. One of them, as you know, is the Teresa Wentzler one. And the Mill Hill one was a little difficult for me to get started on because of all the confetti. And I thought, oh my gosh, I only have, 2 days, and one of those days is really packed full, and I've got to do all this confetti. But as you can see, I really got a lot done. I just needed to get busy. And I'll tell you something else that helps. I watch you guys. I watch FlossTube while I'm stitching. And it really helps the time go by. And I just enjoy watching what all you are working on. And so it made it a fun event, lots of good progress, and enjoyed doing it. So I will be back in a couple of days to show you my final progress on my final whip for my whip Maynia. I'll see you then. In the meantime, I hope you guys are enjoying your stitching. Goodbye. Hello everyone, this is Dina, and today is Friday, May 18th, and it is the end of my Maynia for 2018. I hope you guys, if you're finishing today, or I have had a wonderful mania. I know I have. I've been telling you that as I go along. I hope I've mentioned it more than once because it has been a wonderful time for me. My last whip in my whip mania was Halloween tricks. This is the Saturday Evening Post cover. And if you'll recall, I was going to work on this fence back here to try to get as much of that done as I could on the piece. I'm happy to show you how far I got. So here's Halloween tricks. So I got the entire fence done. All those little different shades of gray. Oh my goodness. It was quite a few. And then there's the hole, in the fence where you can see the moon shining through it. Great, great piece. I actually got that done, and I was able to come over here and do the piece of the magazine cover that says 5 cent the copy. I thought that was really cute. I have not gone over and done this side yet, but it's late and I've decided that that's more than my goal. So that's where I'm going to leave it off for now. Sonia, Cat Crazy Creations, can't wait to see how far you're getting on yours. We're stitching this together. And I hope you've had some progress on it. You tend to show it each of your update reports, so I can't wait to see how you've come on yours. So that is the last whip for my Whip Mania. So I have some new plans that I'm working up. I'm not going to start on this new plan as far as stitching it until I have at least one finish of my current whips, because I have 10 whips. But I will film a little video and tell you about my plans. And that way you'll know that that will be something that I can look forward to in the coming year. Hopefully not too many months down the road I'll have a finish. My goal for this mania, being a whip mania, was to try to help me push forward on each of my 10 whips. And I have done that. And so I'm very pleased. I think it's been a successful event for me. So I hope yours has been fun, whatever you chose to do. And I've certainly enjoyed going along, watching your videos, and that way traveling the journey with you. That's been great fun. So I'm going to go ahead and end the video after you see my new plans. My little tiny bit of haul that I have to make the new plans happen. And then I may or may not do another video this month. Just depends on how much I get done. I mean, it is only the 18th, so I do have a couple of weeks left. Have a lot going on in the next couple of weeks. Some things going on in our family life. Just traveling we have to do to take care of our house we have for sale, and a little bit of doctor's appointments and things like that, your yearly checkups and things. They all tend to be falling close together here. So I have some appointments and things that will take me away from the house and away from stitching for a while. But I hope to get some progress, to continue making progress on my whips. But I hope that you've enjoyed seeing the progress so far. And so anything I show you by the end of the month will be in addition to all of this. So that way, at least my whips that I get to work on before the 1st of June, it'll be the second time this month that I've been working on them. So that's exciting, because that means they're getting a lot more love and attention, and they'll get finished a lot quicker. Well, I've got more floss tube to watch because I'm enjoying all of your Mania updates, and I'm gonna do a little bit of that, maybe for a few more minutes this evening, and then I will work on getting this video ready tomorrow and try to upload it for you tomorrow. I will bid you adieu. Till next time, happy stitching. Bye. Hello everyone, this is Dina and I am here with a couple of points of information for you that aren't part of my mania. I had Happy Mail and I want to share that with you today. I have seen this being stitched and I believe one of the people who stitched this or something similar to it was Debbie from Creatively Yours. She started me on a hunt after I saw one of her whips. If you haven't been watching her, please give her a look. She showed off her Disney bathroom on one of her Maynia update videos that I thoroughly enjoyed. But she was stitching a piece that had beautiful pair of sewing scissors in it, and I went looking for that piece. And I saw several different patterns that had sewing scissors in them, but this one is the one that I fell in love with. It's a Barbara Anna Designs, and the name of it is Let It Snow. Isn't that precious? I have to put this in my Christmas collection. See when I can get to working on that. I just went through most of my kitted projects this morning, just looking to see, what I had in each of my categories that I might want to start thinking about once Mania is over and once I finish a couple of my current whips and I get to add something in. So today was a bit of a planning day. I needed a palette cleanser, and so that's what I did. So I want to share with you what I worked on. The other part of my Happy Mail kind of affected this. I have been ordering, just one at a time, the Sheep's Virtues, and I have gotten, so far I had gotten 2 of the patterns and the button that went with each of those 2 patterns. But recently my husband was very successful in placing my old sewing desk on a local website for where you want to have things to sell. And Brittany, I thought of you because the name of the site was something about Let It Go. Anyway, I thought of you in that wonderful video you made singing that song. Anyway, hope you're doing well and enjoying your mania. So when my husband sold the sewing desk, he came and told me that he had sold it and he gave me the money for it. And he said, "What are you going to do with your money?" And I said, "I'm going to buy cross-stitching stuff." I haven't added to my stash in a while, which is why you see the new pattern that I just showed you, the Let It Snow. But the other thing I did is I went through my wish list where all of my other Sheep Virtues were in there with their buttons, so that as I ordered them, I could take each one off my wish list and I could get the 12 that I know are out there. There may be more. If there are, I'm not aware of it, but there might be. But so far I have found 12. And so I went ahead and ordered the remaining patterns and their buttons, and they came in. So now I have the set of 12, and I had an idea of what I wanted to do with it. I have an Afgan cross-stitch piece of fabric, that's the size of an Afgan. It's actually 7 squares by 9, and I measured the squares, and they're 5 inches by 5 inches exactly. I did a count of the fabric, and it turns out to be 18 count. So that'll be wonderful. I counted up the stitches for these Sheep Virtue patterns, and on 18 count, those pictures will be 3.38 inches by 3.38 inches, which is a wonderful piece to center in a 5 by 5 square, because it'll be a little over 3 inches by 3 inches. So you'll have a good solid inch all the way around, which is, or almost an inch, like an inch and 2/3 all the way around your piece that you're stitching. So that'll make it center nicely in each little square. So then came the math. Stephanie, then came the math. I have 7 squares across, 9 squares down, and I've got to figure out how to lay out those 12 pictures to look nice on that. So I started out in Excel, pulled up a grid, highlighted the borders so that I know this is how big my fabric is. These are how many squares I have. And I just centered X's, getting an idea if I tried this pattern or that pattern. And I came up with 4 patterns, 2 on a 7x9 piece, and 2 if I made it 6x9, because I thought that one row off might make it a little better if they were divisible by 3s. They may lay out better. Then when I looked back at my fabric, it's pre-cut just perfectly on all sides. A portion of that square is there so that I can stitch all the way around and I can fringe the edge. And it'll be an even fringe all the way around, and I'll have my squares that I need. So after looking at it, I thought if I try to cut one of these squares off, I'm not going to be able to cut a solid square off. I've got to cut in the middle of a square and allow for the fringe. And I decided I didn't want to do that. That to me was just a recipe for disaster if I made the wrong measurement or the wrong cut, and then the fabric is no good from then on. I also had considered cutting off that one row thinking I could use it as a bell pull. But unfortunately, it's not at the edge where there's a full square. It's half of a square into half of a square with the line down the middle, you know, it looks like a ridge. So it really wouldn't have been worth me cutting it. I would be wasting the fabric. I wouldn't be able to capture it for anything. So I decided to leave it 7x9 squares. So I've got some pictures I can insert for you where I took my fabric and laid it out on my dining room table. And then I took my 12 patterns and I followed my grids that I had drawn. And then I actually came up with one that I hadn't even come up with on the computer because it was so much easier to see it when I had the little patterns laid out on it. So I selected the layout that I wanted, and I've got a picture of that for you. Then the question was, what order do I do them in? So I looked at the titles on the patterns, you know, faith, hope, gratitude, sincerity. I put them in alphabetical order to see how that looked. It would be an easy way to remember which one to do next. Then I'd look to see, well, that means the 2 that have more of a purple in them are down here, and the 2 that have blue are over here near each other. They're not spread out. And then I noticed they were numbered 1 through 12. And I thought, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stitch them in the order that they came out in. And that way, I know when they were released. You know, the order that they're released in will be the same order they're on the quilt. So that's what I decided to do. And I have a picture of that for you. You can't really tell which one's where because I had to stand so far back. So I'm going to pause the video here so I don't make you seasick. And I'm going to go into the dining room. I've left it laid out for you. and I'm going to show it to you. And you'll also, as I'm going through those pictures, you'll get to see each one of my new purchases because each little pattern was part of my haul. I'm thinking of doing this, and I don't know whether I'm going to put a backing on it or not. So I would like your feedback on that. I will try to keep my stitching as neat as possible on these little pieces. I won't carry threads and things like that. But should I back this Afghan at least from the edge of the fringe to the edge of the fringe on the back once I finish stitching it? I think it may help to hold the stitches if I can put interfacing, iron-on interfacing there, and then put a backing on it. But I'm just wondering what you think as far as how it would look that way. So give me your ideas on that, if you will, and I'll pause you and I'll show you my proposed layout. Okay, here we are in the dining room, and I hope you can hear me okay. I don't know what the acoustics are like in here because I haven't recorded in here before. So let's look at my little sheep virtues. Now these are by Little House Needleworks. The first one that was released, or is titled the number one, is Hope. There you go. And I have that in the top left corner. And if you'll notice, here's where the outer edge is. This is what I'm proposing will be the fringe all the way around. And you can see there's room at the top for that, room at the bottom, and room at the other side. So I will go through with my sewing machine and I'll stitch on this right below this line here really tight so that it'll be where the fringing will stop. And I'll do that at the end of my piece. So you saw number one. Number two is Love. Aren't they precious? Number three is Peace. So that's the top row. And I have two blanks in between. And then of course one full square above it and one full square on the side. I like that placement. Then I came down in the middle and I'm trying to put the bulk of the design in the middle because that, as the Afghan lays over your lap, you'll see that the most. So for row two, I have Courage and Faith. Those are 4 and 5. Then for row 3, I come down to the next row and I'm just going on the outer edges. This is Simplicity and Patience. Then your next row is back in placement, a mirror of the second row. Wisdom, a cute little apple button, and Friendship. Then for the bottom row, which mirrors the layout of the top row, you have Kindness, Gratitude, and Joyfulness. So that's my proposed layout. And that's how it will look, except it'll have fringe on those edges as I mentioned. But I really liked the look of that when I laid it on the table. So if you will, give me your feedback on how you think I should finish the back of it. Thanks for sharing it with me.